Let me give you some instructions because I don't know if you realize what's going on. This is a very exciting time. My name is Victor Mullins. I'm the Dean of the undergraduate program. This is just for logistical reasons. We are being videotaped. You don't really need to know where the video person is because I don't want you looking at the camera, hey, what's up? You know, and we'll send it to you. And we want you to be open to just listening and being immersed and participating. I mean, opening up your mouth and speaking. Okay? But I'm going to sit down and let the Academy members take over.
So good morning, everybody. Good morning. So my name is Dennis Alvarenga. I'm a junior. I'm majoring in finance. I'm minoring in technology entrepreneurship. I'm the president of the Smith Business Academy. And so we're the ones who put this whole summit together. And the biggest thing about SBA is we embark all of our members on this journey to become a man of distinction. But to become on that journey, to become a man of distinction, there's a lot of things that have to take into consideration that we take into place. The Smith Business Academy is a program designed for minority males in the business school so we can develop socially, professionally, and academically. And so we give all of our members the pillars of success for them to become that man of distinction. And on those pillars of success, there are some things that had to be addressed. The reason why we've been so successful is because we've addressed the problems and the issues that we have to face, and then we've addressed some challenges and some solutions to those conflicts and to those problems so that we can better ourselves as men. And so the program is called Brothers Leading Brothers because honestly, SBA is so long and has been so well and so successful because all of our brothers care about each other. And so we wanted to implement that into the summit. And so I want to start off by recognizing some of the problems that today in society as men that we face and that we have. So the problem with today's young men is that we're scared of uncertainty. We're scared of taking risks. We're scared of taking chances. We're scared of something new. We're scared of change. And so I challenge you all to take a risk. I challenge you all to take chances. I challenge you all to try something new. Because when I was in a position that you all are in, when I was in a conference, when I was in a summit, whatever the case may be, a meeting, I was always scared to speak up. And the reason that is because the problem that as young men that we face is we're scared of looking dumb. We're scared of not being cool enough. We're scared about what our friends sitting next to us think instead of speaking up. So I challenge you to try something new, and I challenge you to get out of your comfort zone. But which brings up another point of how us as men, a problem that we face is we're too comfortable. We feel comfortable because we're satisfied. We're okay. We don't need and we don't reach for new goals. So I challenge you to set new goals for yourself, set a new standard, create a new mission, new goals for yourself that better you as a person and as a man. I challenge you to be great because we're so used to being good. But we're so focused and worried about the wrong people. A lot of times we're focused and worried about other people, what other people got going on in their life, instead of focusing and investing in ourselves. And that's a problem because you can't progress if you don't invest in yourself. The biggest thing is that the only person that will hinder your progress is yourself. And I want that to really resonate with you for the rest of today as the summit goes on. We gave you a whole platform, but not even just a platform, a whole experience for you all to become a better version of yourself, for you to stand out. We're so used to fitting in that we don't forget how to stand out. We're so used to being followers that we don't even want to be leaders anymore. So I challenge you to be a leader. I challenge you to stand out. I challenge you to take a new initiative upon yourself today. Stop worrying about what other people think. When you stop worrying about what other people think, you'll start progressing and you'll start making and reaching new goals that you never thought before. And I just want to say that because I want to get the blood flowing, because I want to go ahead and introduce our keynote speaker, Mr. Eric Sivas, Vice President and Group President at Verizon Wireless. So we want to go ahead and give him a warm welcome, you all.
Thank you, Dan. All right, thank you. I think they got me mic'd up. You hear me? How you feeling? Come on now, I saw when the t-shirts are going out. How do you follow that? How you feeling? Because say, I feel good. All right, embrace that, embrace that. All right, as I said, the name is Eric Sivas. I've been with Verizon for 33 years. Senior Vice President, Group President, reporting to the Chairman and CEO. So it's been an interesting ride. Born and raised in Bel Air, Maryland. Went to George Mason University. Had a chance to pledge a fraternity over there with Dr. Mullins over here. So he tracked me down and got me out here to make sure I got a chance to share with you today. I'm encouraged seeing you all here today. Tremendous opportunity. It will be what you make out of it. Embrace the comments that are shared here. People have been through the journey. People have made it happen. I grew up in a little small town. We had to tell everybody we lived in the next town just so they'd know it was a real town. My mother's one of 19. My father's one of 11. A lot of hand-me-downs, a lot of pass-through in order to kind of make it to success. But there was never a question. My father went to Bowie State, played the piano there for the jazz band, and my mother's a school teacher for 30-some years. She also went to Bowie. That's where they met each other. Let me see if I can find the clicker that they had over here. Here we go. So just to give you a little journey, a little background, I'm just so glad to spend some time with you. They gave me about 15 hours, so I hope you can hang in there with me. You were listening. Oh, good. I'll take about 15, 20 minutes of your time, and I'm going to leave 5 or so minutes to see if you have any questions. So if I say something that is thought-provoking and you want to hear more about it, please make sure you jot a note down mentally or on your pad there, and make sure you hold on to any questions that you might have. Once again, it's a great opportunity to be here with you. See if we can get this clicker to work. All right, so we talk about leadership in Verizon an awful lot. And leadership is made up of so many different things. The mere fact that you took time out of your schedule to invest in yourself, that's leadership. That's a big deal. It's important to invest in yourself. You can achieve anything you put your mind to. You just got to decide that that's what you're going to do. And we think of men of distinction, and we really think about the example we set as men in this environment, men of color, diversity, Hispanic, Latino, African American, Black. What is the difference there? The commitment to make sure you make a difference. You make certain that you make a difference for yourself and you make a difference for your family. It comes with a lot of humility. It's amazing at times, the humility that you have to have, but with humility, you got to be willing to have a voice. Stand up, be recognized. Don't sit in the back of the classroom, sit in the front of the classroom. When you go to church, don't sit in the back pew, sit in the front pew. Make sure that people get to know who you are. What's your brand? What's the image you put forward? What are you accountable for? Are you looking to take your family to higher heights than you ever thought your family could go to? It's really big that you take that time. Being here today, a step in that direction, but it takes commitment. It's a long journey. It's a committed journey that you got to continue to put the time and energy in. When I left out of that small town in Maryland to make that journey out to George Mason University out in Virginia, I didn't know really what that journey was going to be like. I was a mama's boy. I know none of you guys mama's boys in here. But I didn't want to go too far from mom. They took me down to James Madison University. I said, ooh, that's a little far, Mom. I don't know if I can do that. So came back to George Mason. But the biggest thing there was trying to make certain that that which my parents had done, I took the family name even further. It was just important to leave that legacy. They had paved the way, and so many before them had paved the way. And what was I going to do to make certain that our brand, our accountability, our leadership made a difference in each and everything we do? So people talk about success. It's measured in so many ways, particularly people of color. Sometimes the idea of success can be, what's the latest rap song you can put together music? Nothing wrong with that. Good way to make a business and make money to care for yourself and your family. Some folks think the only way you can do it is through sports, right? But there are other ways. There are every avenue out there available for you to take advantage of it. Carpe diem, as we talk about, seize the moment. Look at the opportunities, leverage the opportunities to make yourself make a difference in this world and leave a legacy. So important that we do that. Success is not a straight line. It's not easy. No one can just hand it to you, whether you're an athlete, music, academics, professional, business, entrepreneur, whatever you want to take on in life. It's not going to be just a straight road. It's going to be a lot of turns along the way. A friend of mine, Dr. Willie Jolly, wrote a book, said that a setback is a setup for a comeback. Now, he's out of Prince George's County, Maryland, so some of you may have spent some time with him, spent some time out at Glen Arden Baptist Church. But he always talks about this setup as a setback is a setup for a comeback. And the importance of understanding that even time you're making strides in your journey each and every day, every now and then you may find yourself taking a step backwards to take 2 or 3 steps forward. And that's okay. The commitment is that you don't give up. You keep trying and making certain that you're making a difference in each and everything that you're doing, so that regardless of what success really looks like, you got to be willing to soar and make a difference in your environment, in your family, in the things you're trying to do in your household. So I talk about it by getting your slice of the pie. I think I'll use a visual you all might remember. Get your slice of the pie. A lot of textbooks talk about this pie theory. The P for performance, the I around image, and the E for exposure. To just be in the game, you got to have performance. Showing up here today is a part of performance. You're in the game. If you don't even make that step, how far will you go? You got to be a part of the performance, be a part of the game. But you can't just leave it at performance. You got to think about the image that you put forward. What is the image? When people hear your name, do they look down real quickly and looking at their shoes? Or do they look up and say, you know what, that's a strong person. That's the person I want on my team. That's someone who will make a difference for the goals that we're trying to achieve. So important that you really think about the image that you portray. Right down in Verizon, we joke in the 30-some years I've been there, we've gone from suit and ties every single day to our CEO wears skinny jeans with no socks and a T-shirt. That's a little different, so I got to go figure out that wardrobe. With my mom being a school teacher, and I didn't own a pair of jeans until I went to college. And I bought 4 pair and washed them 5 times that night, so I looked like I could fit in. So it's the image. What are you projecting? What is your image? What are you trying to deliver? I mean, I had an opportunity last night to spend a little time talking to the principal there at Ron Brown Academy. I think it was Benjamin Williams, right? And it was just amazing to hear the story of what he's trying to make happen, how he's trying to make accomplishments happen. I know we've got a lot of different schools here today, different high schools, you know, a few folks, college folks here, alumni here, people across the campus, et cetera. But the goal is everybody coming together to invest in you to make sure you make a difference. Project a positive image. And then your exposure. Once again, who are the people you hang out with? Who are the folks you associate yourself with? Do you find yourself in a situation at times that you're not sure how you get out of that situation? Think about the people you associate with. The key is there's something you can do positive in each and everyone's life, regardless of that individual. The key is what are you doing to strengthen your brand, strengthen who you are, and take an opportunity to use your exposure to strengthen them even more so. So please, get your slice of the pie. Perform academically. Deliver. Get the grades that you need. Minimally thinking that I can do a 3.0 and above being the key term. How much better should I be doing? Take the bar even higher. It's so important. I've got a 16-year-old son. He's all excited because he thinks he's carrying all the image and exposure. Clearly the performance. Started varsity basketball as a freshman, his freshman year. Never been done in the history of the school before. Sophomore year, the same thing. All of a sudden, he's third rated in the state, but he's just 6 feet tall. Size 13 shoe. We hope he keeps growing. But aspirations, he'd love to play ball somewhere. We look at his sisters, 29-year-old, went to University of Maryland, pledged AKA here as a sorority, went to Georgetown and got her master's degree, went to Jacksonville University, got her MBA, and now Jacksonville University is paying for her funded doctorate program as she works full-time as an athletic director and a senior woman administrator at the university, 29 years old. Just bought her first home and didn't ask me for a penny. I love her a lot. 29 years old. Just kept pushing the envelope. My middle daughter, 21, University of Delaware. Full scholarship ride for biomedical engineering. Looking for people of color. Looking for women in that particular application that she applied for. But went for each and everything she could to really make a difference and make certain that she performed. She created an image of trying to be very positive and got exposure, reaching out, applying for scholarship applications, getting to know the dean of her school, getting to understand the counseling group on how they could help her through this journey as she got her slice of the pie. One of the things I've talked to all 3 of my children about is this idea of accountability. What are you accountable for at the end of the day? How do you think about that? You walked in this room, we talked about how do you feel? I feel good. I'm excited. I got another day to make a positive difference in my life and the life of all those around me. But so often you got to step up to this level of accountability. We call this accountability ladder. And what this ladder talks about, look at the bottom rungs of the ladder below that line. They use the term powerless and victim. I'm a victim. I can't do that. Oh, my family's never been able to do that. We don't have money to do that. Really talk about being kind of unaware and unconscious, blaming others for why you are where you are. I can't excuses. One of the fraternity things we learned 30-some years ago, hope I don't screw it up, excuses are tools of incompetence that lead to monuments of nothingness. And those that specialize in using excuses tend to be nothing more than excuses themselves. Whew. I ain't messed that up, did I, Delonte? All right, got a couple George Mason Kappa guys around here. But I'm just excited about that idea because that instilled in my head, because coming from a small town country, I had no clue what fraternity was like. Oh, I went to church because my father played the piano for the church, my mother sang in the choir. So I understood togetherness and family, brotherhood, sisterhood, unity. The Bible talks to us about, how good and pleasant it is for brothers and sisters to come together in unity. How do I embrace those concepts in my walk, in my life? And how do you embrace them in your life so that you don't hang around with I can't excuses? This is why that didn't happen. This is why this other thing didn't happen. But when we were doing the fraternity there at George Mason and we really started learning this excuses, tools of incompetence, none of us wanted to be viewed as incompetent. We wanted to make a difference and not be an excuse. By showing up, you don't become an excuse. So you get yourself from the bottom rung of this ladder and you're not sitting around waiting and hoping. My boss always says, hope is not a strategy. I'm like, okay, that's pretty deep. Sometimes I feel like that's all I got is a little hope. But the key is what am I going to do? Am I going to stay and be a victim? Am I going to stay in this powerless piece of the accountability ladder? Or am I going to raise up and get to this powerful, accountable part of the ladder? And what the ladder tells you there is, okay, acknowledge reality. Everything's not going to be easy. Everything's not going to be given to you. Someone else is not going to be able to do it. You got to put the time in. You have to do the work. I average probably 60-hour work week and been doing that for 33 years. I don't remember a time when I didn't average that type of work week. People used to talk about when I was coming through, 9 to 5. I have not seen a 9 to 5 day in my job in 33 years. But did what it took to make a difference. I was here in the Maryland, Washington area for 20 years. Verizon came to me 13 years ago and said, in order to stay as a vice president, we're all moving to New Jersey. You got 3 months to decide if you're going to move to New Jersey or not. Called my wife. She said, Jersey, whew. She wasn't feeling that. Then she said, where's the paycheck coming? I said, New Jersey. She said, we'll be in New Jersey. Here I sit, 33 years in the same corporation. Now, a lot of you may not have that experience. A lot of people don't do that, particularly the millennial environment, age 18 to 34. We use this millennial term. You're going to have 4 or 5 different jobs, probably, different companies even. I've had 9 jobs in the one company, constantly excelling, results orientation, delivering on the goals and objectives that were put in front of me. And by doing that, it gave me an opportunity to be promoted. Straight out of George Mason University in '86, basic sales job. Promoted to be the sales manager of the group that I was one of. Promoted to be sales director. Moved up to be marketing vice president. Moved up to be a senior vice president of one of the 5 business units. And now a group president in that organization. And it feels good to make about $5 million a year. No one thought a little country dude could do that. But I could actually make a decent living off of $5 million a year, I think. But the key is being accountable, owning it, finding a solution. They like the $5 million a year thing, I can tell. We can get a whole lot more T-shirts coming out to you. And then, as you acknowledge that reality, what do you do to make it happen? Make a difference. Be accountable. Don't use those excuses. Don't be an excuse. Be accountable for your own destiny. Show up. Think about your accountability. So once again, we talked about get your slice of the pie. Your performance, delivering on the results academically, in business, internships, etc. Show up. Your image, your exposure. Then your accountability. Let me round this out in the 15 hours they gave me. I got to round it down for you. So your image, important. Your accountability, how you show up. No excuses. I'm going to make a difference. Each and every day I show up. Not going to sit in the back of the classroom. Regardless of the size of the classroom, the professor's going to know who I am. I always had that mission. I always had a couple questions I always just held, just in case no one asked the question, or just put my hand up, make sure it's a thought-provocative question at least. But get that attention. People know who you are. It makes a big difference because your image and your accountability establish your brand. So we're going to end on brand. Because what is your brand? Verizon was big about our brand. When I was here, it was called CMP Telephone, Bell Atlantic. We changed the name to Verizon, and everyone thought, no one will know who you are. But the brand was important. Verizon stands for Veritas, certainty, reliability, horizon, looking over the horizon. So you probably didn't know that. But it was a brand thought that said, who are we going to be, Verizon? How are we going to show up? And that's where the name came from. So let's talk about your personal brand. Because each of us needs to stand for something. Think about what you stand. Are you going to stand for something positive, something neutral, or something negative? I like the positive vein. Because the positive vein has allowed me to take care of those 3 kids and my wife and enjoy a decent life. Something coming up I didn't know it could ever happen. But I kept feeling if I worked hard like my parents did, and they made it through those large families that they had, and each took care of each other, that I could take the family name even further. So think about your brand. How do you show up? How do you represent yourself? Are you sitting in class sleeping? You sitting in the auditorium today sleeping? Are you paying attention to what's happening and the investment that others are putting into you as we're all trying to make sure you succeed? So my last name is Sivas. So we put this up to help you think about how I think about my brand, how I show up. What is my image? How am I accountable? What is Verizon and what does Sivas stand for? So the C in my last name is about commitment. And commitment basically says, and I've used this my entire career, and my kids can quote this as well as they thought about their own life and what they want to do. And the commitment was, if you say you're going to do something, do it. Dean Mullins came to me almost a year ago and put this date on my calendar. We were not sure if anything in the world was going to make this happen. A lot of people tried to make me go to other places, different countries, this whole week. I made a commitment, and I wanted to honor that commitment so that people know that you are of your word. If you say you're going to do something, do it. The E in Sivas for us is about excellence. Now, humbly, that doesn't mean we're perfect. We make mistakes every single day. But are you chipping away at trying to be better and raise the bar each and every day in your life? That's what excellence is about. None of us are perfect. None of us will actually probably achieve excellence, but in our own definition that we are chipping away to get better every day. V, the Bible talks about, people without a vision may perish. The whole concept here is about have a vision. Where do you want to go? How are you thinking about your life? How are you thinking about the time you're investing in your own education? Making certain that you're doing the things that'll get you where you need to be and always pushing the envelope to get even further, go even further. When I started as a sales rep straight out of college, the vision was, how do I become a manager of people? How do I become a director of people? How do I become a vice president of people? Group president of people in a Fortune 15 corporation making $140 billion a year. How do I get in that game? That was my vision. Innovation. Innovation in Sivas, the I, was all about just because something's been done a certain way doesn't suggest it has to be done that way going forward. Some people use this definition of insanity, doing the same thing the same way, thinking you're going to get different results. Insanity. Sanity says you do different things, different ways to get different results. Different. Not do the same, and expect different. Innovation, thinking through processes. How do you make things simpler? The evolution of technology is amazing today. The speed of change is something we've never seen as exponential as it is today. How do we leverage that? Just the computing power alone in those cell phones that you have from Verizon, because I'm sure you don't carry any other network. But the power of that little device that used to be a big Craig computer that filled a whole room like this. The process compute power. That's what's in front of you. That's the opportunity you have to innovate. And then as I end on my brand, S in Sivas is about spirituality. And what we tell folks there in our family is that, no matter what comes your way, rain, snow, sleet, a setback that sets you up for a comeback, whatever comes your way, you're grounded. You have a foundation. You have people that believe in you. You wouldn't be here today if people didn't believe in you. People put programs together to invest in you. And the opportunity is for you to take that investment and make something out of it as you establish your brand. Because when you do that, you'll drive leadership. You'll create a path that'll give you measurable results, and you'll find that you will not be afraid to dare to soar. Because you will establish a strategy, the S in SOAR. You will establish a strategy for your life, for your profession, for your family. From that, you will look at opportunities that are presented to you, like coming to a conference like this. And from the opportunities like coming to a conference and people instilling into you to make you be all that you can be, you will drive actions. You'll take actions. You won't just walk out of here from today's experience and not do anything with what's been instilled into you. You'll use this to take yourself to a higher gear. And by doing that, you'll deliver measurable results. And results is what matters in our life. So dare to soar. Continue to own the relationships that you have. Invest in yourself. Get your slice of the pie. Perform. Think about the image you're creating. Get exposure outside of your comfort zone and push yourself to be all you can be. Get your slice of the pie. Accountability ladder. Do not stay at the bottom rungs of the accountability ladder. Move to the more powerful side of the accountability ladder. Once again, do not allow yourself to find excuses, those tools of incompetence that lead to monuments of nothingness and tend to make you nothing more than an excuse yourself. You will not be an excuse. You will be a person that makes a difference because of the fact that you're going to go the extra mile. And then lastly, your create a brand. Now, your last name might be longer than mine, so you might not want to go that deep. But think about that. Who are you? How do you show up? What's the difference you make? And soar to make sure you can deliver your objective. I end on this slide. You probably have seen this coach before, right? So this is March Madness. Happened to be in Jacksonville this year. There's the Maryland coach. Sitting behind the Maryland coach is Lauren Sivas, athletic director, sitting right there next to the whole team and the coach. I asked her who the person in the blue tie was that I cut off. That was the athletic director for Duke. I said, now you did give him your brother's resume and his videos, right? I'd love to go to North Carolina next. But I share this with you to say all things are possible if you just believe. Once again, journeyed through various colleges. She kept pushing her envelope for what was important to her. Got an opportunity to sit in the front row right next to the University of Maryland basketball team during the March Madness function there. Just because she invested in herself, she delivered the results for the job that she has, created a positive image, got exposure, sitting right there in the front, delivered accountability, and her brand says, I'm shooting for success, and I don't dare to soar. With that, my time is up, and I thank you so much for yours. We got a minute or two? Time to perform.
We're going to ask some questions before we move into your session. Yes, sir, in the back.
Yes, sir.
Good morning. I'm Bob Cortese. My quick question is regarding your career. Are you satisfied right now, or do you have any more goals set up?
I'm very satisfied. My next goal is to get a little more quality of life and slow it down a little bit. 8th grade, I was cleaning in office buildings to make money. 9th grade, I went to Friendly Ice Cream. I was the bus boy at Friendly Ice Cream. Then they put me on the grill, thought I had really made it then. And I was making ice cream. Screwed up a few banana splits so I could take them in the back and eat them when we closed. But 8th grade to now, it's been a long, good journey. And I feel like I've run a good race. Not finished yet. I'll probably get on a couple boards. Number of my mentors, sponsors of my career, they are on the CBS board, Tyco board, Northrop Grumman and Southern board. Each one of those boards pays you anywhere from $200,000 to $300,000 a year to come in 4 or 5 times a year and give them advice. I might know a little something about corporate America that someone wants to talk to me about, My main mentor does diversity and inclusion for CBS because they didn't have women or people of color at the top of their senior ranks. And they were trying to figure out how to get more diverse candidates at the C level, COO, CFO, etc. So those are the kind of things I see. I'm very satisfied. I'm content. I'm happy. My kids, that's the biggest thing that I wanted to do, was set them up so they can take care of me. But I feel really good, and I'll probably do a couple boards, but really going to sit back and reflect and find ways like this to do public speaking to continue to motivate and energize others. Because when people would have seen me many years ago, they may not have thought I could have ever gotten to this point. But I love it today. I really love it today, and therefore I'm looking to try to take a little different approach and ride the rest of these lives enjoying things, going to the Olympics, Super Bowls, March Madness. That's what I'm going to do. I'll be thinking about you guys because you all need to help make sure my stock keeps going so I can get extra money from them dividends. But excellent question. Thanks so much. Yes, sir, here, and then we'll come back there. Yes, sir.
I'd like to ask, because something that's huge that we stress at the Smith School is that networking is really important. Would you like to elaborate on
Yes.
networking here?
Excellent question, Keith. I have had to network my entire life and career. So the whole point about networking, I'm glad to hear the Smith School supports. I'm not surprised. But if you think of just little things like even when I was growing up, singing in the choir of the church and getting to know more and more people in our church, and those folks branched out and they got into schools and colleges and jobs. To this day, I got into Verizon because of someone that was actually in our church many years ago. From there, we did things like employee resource groups. A lot of companies have resource groups focusing on Hispanics or African Americans, military, women, etc. So corporate America funds people to get together and network. And in those sessions, you learn about leadership. You have a chance outside of your job to take on leadership things that you may not have otherwise thought you could do, but you're able to do it in a safe environment with people that care about you. The other thing about networking is we use a term in Verizon called mentoring. But the whole mentoring is people that know you and support you will sponsor you. They can't guarantee you a promotion, but they'll help you with guidance because they've been down the path before. At age 55, I might know a little more than my 16-year-old son. He doesn't think that at times. But guiding his direction and the things that he's doing in his life from networking. This is what it's really about, because the more and more people you expose yourself to as you get your slice of the pie, creates a positive image about who you are and helps you better perform the results that you're looking for.
That's the young man who's about to raise his hand.
The gentleman back there.
Those are young kings.
Oh, is that right? Oh, okay.
From Brown County.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
DeAndre Walters from Rob 11th grade. I was just wondering, you speak on branding and strategy. Do you think that it's better to build your brand around the person you are or the person that you hope to become?
Oh, whew, get deep in here. You got to pay me to answer that question, man. Excellent question. I've tried to tell folks that it's important to acknowledge the reality of who you are today and continue to build upon that brand. But the example I use with folks is every job I've been in, I've tried to operate in the job I wanted next. Therefore, I would encourage you to be comfortable in who you are and establishing a strong brand for who you are, but continue to evolve that brand as time will evolve so that people know that you're showing up because you want more. There are a lot of folks in corporate America that are individual contributors. They want to be in their silo and do their one thing, and that's okay. But if your desire is to do bigger things, you're going to have to continue to build a bigger brand so people can appreciate that's what you want to do. I have people applying for a couple jobs I have now. Some of them are very surprising because you never looked at them as someone that wanted to be a people leader. But now they've established that brand that says, no, I want to do more. The success I've had as an individual, I want to do that at a bigger level and help the company. That's what's allowed me to get promoted. My success as an individual guy selling like crazy, they said, boy, if he could teach more people to do that, all of a sudden the company wins and it establishes even a bigger brand for me. So I would always ask you to operate in the job and the person you want to be, but feel comfortable in who you are today, because you can't accomplish everything at age 16, 17, 18, 19. Over time, you'll continue to get advice like this to make you even stronger with your brand.
Yes, sir, one more. We don't have that time. But I'm glad of your energy. But young man right here.
Please call this Nick Owen. I want to ask, like, what advice would you give for us youngsters that are trying to start a business before like the age of 20 or the age of 25?
Yeah, excellent question. For those who didn't hear the question, is like, what advice would you give someone at a young age trying to start their own business? One of the things I'm finding more and more, particularly with children of my own, 29, 21, and 16, this millennial version we talk about, age 18 to 34, it's a little different than when I came up and people are like, if you could get in a big company and stay there for 30 years, that's the greatest thing in the world. Today, more and more folks are entrepreneurial in mind and spirit. And if you have a passion for that, you want to invest in that particular fashion and see it through. I tell people, be smart though, step back and study, write a business case and a business plan, and make certain that you understand, based on the effort I put in, am I going to get this return on the investment? Because at the end of the day, to be successful in anything, entrepreneur or even in business, you got to have a plan. You got to write a business case articulating that if I do these things, put in this investment, this is the return I expect on the other end. Last night they had a reception. It was so powerful because there were a lot of entrepreneurs there last night. And just hearing some of the ladies talk about they started their own like fashion group, or folks that actually created a business to make certain that people knew how to show up when they were interviewing for jobs. I mean, I was very encouraged hearing some of the stories last night because I really believe, regardless of what you want to do, if it's something you're passionate about, you can make a difference with it in your life. I'll end on, I've known Dean Mullins for a long time. This is a gentleman who has always wanted to give back and has always given back. I mean, he would follow me sometimes when I would speak at churches while we were in college, and he's playing the piano, keeping it going, the music and everything. And you may not know that about the Dean. But just amazing in the fact that we came together to help each other get to where we want to be. So last night when I could see the men and the women that were embracing the things that were important to them, their passion, they really were making great things happen. Once again, people helping people know how to interview skills and how to show up for a job, how to dress for success. One lady was designing her own fashion and things. Look at that. So young age, people are stepping out and doing those type of things. But the thing I would always have you think about is, what's the business case? What's the business plan? How do you know that you can measure you've been successful? And when you get to a point where either you continue to invest in that vision and that dream to make it a reality, or you take a different step because it may not necessarily be getting you where you want to be at the time that you said you wanted to get there in your business plan. All right?
He has to leave, but I really don't. But I love this energy. We're going to tack it on. The Capital One is ready for the first group, but we'll end on your questioning, man.
All right, so I'm a data boss from College Park Carry. My question is, when you have a business like this, how do you not defer from that?
Not defer from it?
Yeah, how do you keep? What is that one thing that drives you to keep going?
Yeah. Yeah. And can almost add to the question that was put there. I mean, the reality is, and this is where I help people think, it's okay to make turns. Remember the chart I had up there that said success is not a straight line to the top, to that sea level? It's kind of swiggly and turns around. There are going to be times that you're going to have an original business plan and a vision of what you want to do, but you have to be open to information and intelligence and education that comes around that may cause you to tweak that vision. And it may not end up being exactly as you started out, but you have to adjust to what's going on in society, what's going on in the economy. But if you can keep the remnants of your major vision and your goal, you ought to feel pretty good about that at the end of the day. But don't be afraid to be flexible and agile and adjust, because I'm not aware of many people that started from scratch and it made sense all the way through. Facebook, Google, every one of them have had to adjust what they were building in their garage or when they were in college to what they have today. But they're willing to be open to that and adjust accordingly, but still stay true to their original vision. All right? All right, sir.
Good man. I can't give him a hand.
Thank you.